Hey guys, welcome back. In this video I will talk about my newest project, Dutch rapper Hef, why I went Dutch, who is Hef and why I chose him, the idea, the process and the end result, so stick around. Alright, thank you for watching episode 2 of Work in Progress. If you haven't seen episode 1, I made this painting of Rick Ross and I show you how I did it. Go watch it if you're interested in that. This video I will be discussing Dutch rapper Hef. Now first, why did I go Dutch? I've been doing this for 7 years now and I mainly focus on the American artists that much that I thought the Dutch scene would not fit in my catalog, which I now think is dumb. But back then I did think so. You need to understand that all this time I have been listening to Dutch rap and have been since I was young. So a few months ago I decided, why am I not going for the Dutch artists as well? So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't just want to start with any artist in the Dutch scene. I wanted to start with the big names, the ones that I have been listening to since I was younger and who have made the Dutch hip-hop game the way it is right now. One name came directly in my head and that was the name Hef.
Partij van de straat, ik vind niet beter dan dit. Hoogvliet. Ik ren hoogvliet.
Okay, so who is Hef Bunny? Hef Bunny, whose real name is Julia Frans, was born in 1987. His mom was from Curaçao and his dad was from Suriname. He grew up in different hoods of Rotterdam and Amsterdam, with Hoogvliet being the most important one.
Hoogvliet.
As a big Biggie Smalls and 50 Cent fan, he started rapping with his younger brother Crooks and his older brother Adonis, better known as Atje. I just had fun with it. Until in 2008, he went all in and released Puur.
Je bent op zoek naar puur om te gooien in de mix. Niks geef me een uur en ik heb het gefixt. Die andere is een duur. Kom fokken met dit. Vertel me wat je hebben wil, want ik heb wat je hebben wil.
With this song, he conquered the whole Dutch hip-hop scene. Only a year later, he released his debut album, Even Mode, which did pretty damn good. It contains songs like Op een missie.
Ik ga vanavond op een missie. Morgen heb ik money of zit ik vast.
Overal.
Ik heb hoes overal.
And later also a bonus track called Get Money.
Get money, get money.
On his track Bundy, he says,
Bundy, sinds puur heb ik alles op slot.
and he wasn't lying. After dropping SMO, he signed to Noah's Ark, one of the biggest labels in the Netherlands. Since then, he has been dropping a lot of music and still is today. But also today, he is at A&R at Top Notch, one of the biggest labels, and he hosts podcasts Roodwolfs. Nowadays, he's still being mentioned in top 5s and is considered a real legend in the game. Now, why did I decide to paint him? Well, first of all, currently I'm living in Rotterdam, which is his city as well. And I've been listening to his stuff since I was 12 years old. To me, he is a legend in the rap game, and if I would have to recommend anything from Dutch hip-hop to a foreigner, I would say his name. So I got the idea. Well, I bought a rectangular-shaped canvas, and I was thinking about picturing him with half of his body on the canvas as well. So I started looking for pictures of him, and I know he had this shoot where he also shows his tattoo on his belly that says Kutleven. I'll explain that later, and that's something I wanted to be included on the painting as well, but I couldn't really find a picture that was perfect for this situation. The thing is, he's a bit older these days, so he doesn't really look like that anymore. I wanted to have an updated look of him, so I went on and combined multiple pictures, more recent pictures, to see if it can fit on his body. And besides that, I wanted to show his golden tooth. He sometimes has his golden tooth in, and I think that looks pretty dope. Then I wanted to make a tribute to the city I live in, which is Rotterdam. Rotterdam is one of the biggest cities in the Netherlands. It's a beautiful modern city with the most iconic thing being the Erasmusbrug. On the canvas, I wanted to have Hef standing in front of the Erasmusbrug, and that was basically a rough draft of the idea I had in mind. The things that would happen afterwards, I would decide on the spot, so I was open for ideas that would come along the road. Alright, so then I started. What I wanted to do was paint the full canvas in a dark green color. After that, I made the Erasmus work with tape on the canvas. The reason I did this was because afterwards I wanted to get white paint all over the canvas and then peel off the tape. So suddenly there would be an Erasmus work in a white canvas. Alright? Unfortunately, the dark green color was a bit too dark and just looks black. Well, that can happen, it doesn't matter. I continued anyway. Then it was time to put the first sketch on. So I already decided I wanted to have Has with part of his body in the middle of the canvas. I filled it in with a white background color. After this dried, I made the sketch of Have himself with the details, and I could start the first layer of his skin. In this case, I wanted to try using an underpainting. Painters use this as a technique to have already a sort of contrast in the thing you are going to paint, which is like an extended sketch. Unfortunately, I couldn't help myself and I just painted over it, so there was a bit of effort for nothing. It happens. Now, the first layer is done and it always looks a bit rough and is far from what it should look like at the end result, but you have to trust the process. After using multiple layers full of details, I finally recognized the face of Hef Bundy. I decided I wanted to depict him with him holding his shirt up to show his tattoo. After also finishing the first layer, I decided to get more details on the arm and the hand that's holding the shirt up. So I actually used myself as a reference to see how it would look when you hold your shirt up, and what kind of muscles get more prominent in the arm, and the shading on the fingers as well. And when that was done, it was time for the tattoos. Now this was kind of difficult because there were not much pictures of him holding his arm like that with the tattoos. So I had to use other pictures to see what kind of tattoos he had on his arm and what tattoos you would see when he would hold his hand like that. For some tattoos I figured out what it was or what text was written, but for some I have no idea. Then it was time for the tattoo that I do know what it means. Namely the one on his belly that says Kutleven. There are some hip-hop artists already that have some type of tattoo on their belly that describes the way they're living or their lives. Like Tupac has Thug Life on his upper abdomen. This is similar but not really. Kutleven means messed up life, a life without luck, something like that, okay? And this is what Hef had to say about it himself.
Ja, ik vroeg vroeger altijd een fiets of weet ik veel, scooter of whatever. En dan zei mijn moeder altijd, dat kon je op je buik schrijven.
He actually has a track with the same title wherein he tells a lot about the struggles he's having as an artist, but also as a person.
Shit, dit is een kutleven, daarom moet ik in de lucht leven.
Now that the body was done, I saw that he wasn't really standing out from the background as much as I hoped, so I had to fix this. Now, I already knew I was going to use the color green at some point. This has two reasons. One, green is the color of the city of Rotterdam, and second to that, green is the color of money. I decided I would make an outlining of a good green color that goes all around his body and makes him stand out from the background. And it worked.
We mengen blauw en geel, nigga, we maken groen. Bundy, check dan hoe baas het doen. Get money, get money, get money. Dat is alles wat ik weet, mama.
I already told you I wanted to have a golden tooth for him like he has on his album cover of W.I.P I, so I had to add this. Now I have a tiny little tube that contains golden paint, and I thought it should work perfectly because this paint actually reflects like it is gold. The lip is also forming a bit of shade, so I had to make a little bit of shade in the tooth, and it came out perfectly. And I liked it that much that I wanted to add more gold to the painting. So in the green, which was kind of raw, I added one golden stripe that follows the outlining of his body as well. And then it was time to focus on the background again. I had multiple ideas about what to do with the background, but I wasn't sure about it. See, it kind of looks a bit empty seeing him in the center of the painting and the rest of the canvas is kind of bland. So it had to be something that would spread over the rest of the canvas, alright? So what I had in mind was using multiple colors and throwing it. However, I did that last time in my previous video. You should check it out, episode 1 of Work in Progress, where I painted Rick Ross. So I had to be more original, I thought. How can I do this? What can I do to make it more original? And I was thinking more about where he was from and about his family. As I told you before, he has one little brother and one older half-brother, Koos and Atje. As a guy who has brothers, I know a relationship with brothers is important, and I know that they feel the same way. So that was my first clue. I had to make something that contains out of 3 parts. And what contains out of 3 parts is a triangle. So I want to make triangles in colors, but now I'm not sure exactly which colors to use. So I started thinking, all right, back to his roots. His roots are Curaçao and Suriname. So I checked out the flags of these countries, and they appear to have yellow and blue and red. Also, they have white and green, but that was already on the canvas. So which colors are not yet on the canvas? That's red, yellow, and blue. As it turned out to be, those are the primary colors. And what's important about the primary colors is that these colors are the most pure, which links back to Hef's first hit, Pur. I started with the red triangles, and when I did this, I was not really sure if this was the right idea. I stopped painting, and I just looked at the painting every day for a few days. And as time progressed, I did start to like it. So I trusted the process and went on with it. I made some blue triangles, I made some yellow triangles, and I made them in a certain way. I didn't make them all across the canvas, but I made them specifically around Hef, like he is the source of the triangles that are blown away in the wind. And for the people that know Rotterdam, it's kind of a windy city. So that's also a hint to Rotterdam. I made more and more triangles until I made a total of 486 triangles. Now I know that sounds crazy, and I really felt crazy as well, but I am really happy with the result. I noticed the golden line around him was a little bit too thin, so I had to make it a little bit broader, and it came out way better than it was before. So then I could move on to the details. The green line made it so that the beard wasn't really in front of the green line, so I had to fix this. And I fixed the whole beard and made it better. And also, I didn't really like the way the hair looked, so I made it a little bit longer, like he has right now. I fixed some other stuff in the face, and then it was time for the last thing, and that's signing the canvas.
Partij van de straat, ik vind niet beter dan dit.
Okay, thank you for watching episode 2 of Work in Progress. I hope you liked it. Any feedback is welcome. I just try to get better with these. If you want to see more of myself, just go to my Instagram, my TikTok, Facebook, whatever. If you're interested in buying my art or getting your custom art, just go to my website, PENCILKING.art. Thank you again, and have a good day.
Want je tracks klinken leuk, maar je bent niet echt. En dat is zonde, maar het geeft me voorrang op die vriendjes. Alsof ik bivakkeer op een rotonde. Zit op de hielen van een ton als een blaar. Deze mannen zijn niet klaar, man, ik vorm een gevaar voor ze. Laat het pompen, ik spuug alleen de waarheid. Alsof ik net een fles whisky heb gedronken. Maar ik ben niet dronken, nee, dit is wat ik doe. Dus nu krijg ik love voor wat ik doe.